on YouTube. That's right, baby. And I'm joined here by KP Kyle Phillips and AK-47 Anthony Court. He's up in Northern California. Kyle, you're out there in Illinois, right?
Yep, right by Chicago.
Boom. Worldwide Productions. Prestige Worldwide up in this BITCH.
We are live. First live show.
And we are live.
Deep behind enemy lines.
What FEMA region are you guys in?
FEMA Region 9.
I think I'm in 6.
Court, is that right? We're not
Yep.
FEMA Region 9.
That's right.
So be it. Guys, listen up. Today, it's Saturday, right? We're going to cover some news. We're going to cover some recent stuff. We're going to cover what's on our minds. And I guess I'm the chosen moderator up in this place. So I'll try to do a better job than Candy Crowley or any of those other mainstream people. Not that you guys are in a debate or anything here. We're all just reporters, newscasters for the Media Speaks. We're all just going to get busy and tell you guys what's going on in the news. If anyone out there on YouTube is watching, why don't you call into the show right now? We're live.
If anybody wants to send a text message, if anybody is watching live, you can send that to my phone, 815-501-9556. That's 815-501-9556, and we'll respond to your text messages too. Yeah.
Do we have any way to make that put that actually up on screen for everyone, or
probably?
All right. Well, we'll work on figuring that out. It'd be cool if we could put up a number, or if it's just like this says the Media Speaks Live is the name of this thing. I don't know. Do you guys know exactly what people have to click? Whatever people need to click. If you guys want to join in, if anyone is actually clicking in at the right place at the right time, right? I mean,
yep.
It's a live show.
How can you tell anybody's watching?
There's no way.
I guess they pop in, or we get a green light, or it's like a radio show, or we got a caller.
That's
I don't
fine.
know. But Court, how you feeling, man? You've been kind of sick. You came down with the stomach flu, and how's that going?
I do feel a little bit better. I'm still kind of sick, so just bear with me here.
And are you taking your medicine?
Yeah, just doing what I can. I was pretty much bedridden all day yesterday, but it's beyond the point.
Did your girlfriend make you some chicken soup, or what's going on over there?
Yeah, she did actually.
Nice.
That's pretty much all you can do when you're puking profusely, but that's beyond the news, I guess.
Well, what about the news? What's been at the top of your radar? What's been on your radar lately, Court?
Well, there's been a few different things that have been coming out. Of course, the supposed bombshell from Donald Trump regarding the $5 million donation. I don't know. I thought we'd maybe talk about that a little bit. What do you think about all that, D-Lake?
Well, we were getting into it the other night, weren't we? We were talking about it. We had a good conversation on the phone, and I don't know exactly where we agreed and disagreed, to whatever degree, but it all does seem kind of shady. Trump's timing is something that I kind of think needs to be taken into consideration. And but Donald Trump, like I was telling you, I met him in person. I mean, he's a pretty fantastic and amazing guy in person, and his wife Melania is even more magnificent and 10 times more beautiful than the average person in general. Basically, she's like all shiny and shimmery and $1 million worth of everything going on there. And
that kind of reminds me, though. I mean, a lot of people will say, and I've noticed this during the debates. I was sitting down with my girlfriend's parents, and they were saying, "Oh, well, he sounds great." They were talking about Romney. Don't you think that was good, what he said? And of course, yeah, he sounds great. He seems like a nice guy, but
so did Hitler.
I think we're all used to. Yeah, exactly. We're all used to them saying one thing and doing another.
When he got up on stage for the Republicans and tried to say that Ron Paul was unelectable, I thought that was horrible and distasteful, and that's where I pretty much lost interest. I sort of got on a YouTube fix for maybe a Saturday or a Sunday, maybe even a weekend there, when Donald Trump's like, "Oh, I'm going to run for president," and I'm like, "Well, let's hear what you got to say." And it was all the same crap, and he just likes to talk about OPEC and a bunch of business guy stuff that I didn't get all the way, but I mean, I got the gist of it to say this guy's a loser.
Yeah, and he was big. He said, well, we didn't get Iraq's oil, so what was the point? Like, that's a guy we want president, right? Beyond that, what is the motive he has behind all this? The birth certificate issue in general is pretty fragile. I mean, a lot of people seem to insult people who bring it up as a right-wing conspiracy theorist. And I almost feel like it's a trap. Like, and I'm not saying it is, but it just seems like it because this just gives the liberal trolls more ammo against people that are interested in this and ties them to this kind of theory when we all really want to preserve the Constitution and
Right.
things like that.
He is getting kind of pigeonholed as if he's the main conspiracy theorist birther, though. Kyle, what do you think about that?
Okay, well, I have a little bit of a different view than you guys on this. I will say, first of all, that, one, I do stand with Donald Trump on the birther issue, for the reason that even timing put aside and Donald Trump put aside and all of his views, this gives us more to go off of. One, if it's not a big deal, if it's not a big issue, then Obama not responding and not doing it is going to make him look really bad. And I do think that it's going to hurt him in the polls, because if there's nothing to hide, then why would you why would you not give $5 million to a charity of your choice if that's all you have to do? So I think by him not responding, which, let's face it, he's not going to.
Well, he was making jokes on the Tonight Show. Isn't that right, Court?
Yeah, and he didn't even actually respond to it. They just made it into a joke, like I said earlier, in order to demonize the people that would agree with him. And I totally agree with you, Mr. Phillips. I do think that if he doesn't respond, it obviously makes him look bad, because who wouldn't give $5 million to a charity? Hey, here's my thing, whatever, it's real.
I think that's true, though. Both you guys are right. Totally, I think, because, yeah, I think all those people, I think a lot of people, to what Kyle was saying, are affected by his announcement. I mean, where the media's main spin I saw was, oh, it was a dud. That's not what you promised on Monday. That what came out on Wednesday wasn't what you said on Monday. Because he's like, oh, it's going to be a bombshell. It's going to be huge. And, oh, it's a bombshell? That wasn't a bombshell. That wasn't a quote bombshell.
Yeah, I know.
That was as much of a bombshell as that totally fake video that came out from Drudge after he died, you know?
Yeah.
Or the stuff Breitbart.com released.
Or Breitbart, I'm sorry, Breitbart, that's what I meant. Like,
okay.
Right after he died, after he said he's got like the biggest thing ever.
They said, oh, this is the bombshell stuff he's working on that was already previously released on PBS or some other station.
Yeah.
And we'd already seen that. That was nothing new. And the video that I was recording last night that I was editing this morning that I'm working on, you guys, is pretty much about this speech that I have here that President Barack Obama gave back on September 25th. So September 11th, about 2 weeks later, when he's still blaming the video, I mean, he did have some good points. I cover that in the report that I'm going to put out later. And I'm glad people are watching this live report, if anybody's out there watching it. But I'm glad we're recording it. And this is like day one, phase one. And I'm getting messages. And it's all about seeing how it goes, right? I think everybody's environment looks pretty cool, and people should be tuning in. And
yeah, Court's got David Bowie. I mean, what more do you need?
Yeah, I know. I took the Opeth down, but
is that what that poster is back there?
Yeah, it's David Bowie.
On that one. Well, what's directly behind you? The more square one to your other side. Oh, Vogue or something? A moon, a half moon.
Oh, it's a half moon painting thing. Yeah, that's my girlfriend's. Cool.
Back to what I was saying, just for like a lot of the haters, because like that Donald Trump video that I did telling people to stand behind Donald Trump on this issue.
Yeah, you got a lot of hate from that.
Yeah, that was like,
to F off and get the F out of here, and you're an a-hole and all kinds of stuff, bad stuff, right?
Major troll bait. So I just want to say right off the bat, just flat out, I'm a very transparent guy, just like Obama is not, according to Donald Trump. And so I will say, a lot of people seem to think from that video that I'm like a Mitt Romney supporter or a Donald Trump supporter. I'm a Gary Johnson supporter. And if I'm behind Donald Trump on this, but if he was to legitimately run for president, I would be on the streets with signs. Like, no way would I ever support Donald Trump as president. That would be fascism.
That being said alone, can we trust him? And that's just kind of how I feel. I just think that, people pick their battles, and in this whole thing, we have so much ammo against Obama, and this is what they're choosing to go after him with when he's done things like Fast and Furious, this whole Libya situation. I almost think that this road will demonize the people that criticize Obama if they actually prove that this is all just a waste of time. Who's to say they won't manufacture something better this time to just disprove the whole birther movement and discredit us all as right-wing conspiracy theorists when there are legitimate things that he's done that we could use in the attack. That's just my opinion.
And that's a good point, too, is that aside from the birther issue, which, don't get me wrong, the birther issue is a very big issue, but bigger issues are things like the NDAA.
Republicans don't really want to touch that issue, so in a way it is a sort of semi-non-issue. Really, he's trying his hardest to run on his record, and how do you guys feel that record is being reflected?
I think it's terrible. I think that and that's what I was saying is that there are bigger things, and Obama does deserve to be impeached, in my opinion, for the birther issue, but also because of the NDAA and also for invading Libya without congressional approval. So there are other reasons.
What about sitting on the United Nations Security Council and having a second seat in a foreign government?
That's a big one there too.
Entity.
That's a huge one.
And he gave a speech on September 25th, is the report that I was working on, kind of doing a flashback to then, just 2 weeks after the attacks in Benghazi. That's been kind of big news, and something you guys know I've been covering. And but September 25th, Obama had this to say in his speech to the United Nations: "It's been less than 2 years since a vendor in Tunisia set himself on fire."
Oh, right, yeah.
To protest the oppressive corruption in his country, and sparked what became known as the Arab Spring. That guy setting himself on fire is what spawned the Arab Spring, according to Obama in front of the United Nations? I don't know.
I think that's a small piece.
Back to this quote. And since then, the world has been captivated by the transformation that's taken place, and the United or like a stutter or something, and the United States has supported the forces of change. The United States has supported the forces of change. The forces of change. I promised change. I promised you guys some change. And I put together a task force to ensure that change happens.
You see, and that's the thing, and that's another thing that I want to point out to a lot of people who fall for the whole paradigm of hope and change is, one, you can hope for something as much as you want. It's not going to change anything. And two, change can be good, but just saying change is not enough, because change can be really, really bad. And so far it has been with things like the NDAA and indefinite detention and changing his stance on Guantanamo Bay. Like, change isn't always a good thing. It's just a word.
Well, yeah, they just use a word that's vague, very vague in their campaign to lure you in. And it's pretty elementary, actually.
It is, and it's sad because in the past two elections, I mean, if you look at any election before the first Obama election, presidential candidates didn't have their own little slogans. They didn't have like a little logo like Pepsi and Coca-Cola. They didn't just, I mean, they campaigned on slogans, but it wasn't like you were being, it wasn't like a Super Bowl commercial. You know,
Yeah.
They were still actually saying something, whether it be the things they're supposed to be talking about or not. They were still talking about issues, you know?
Yeah, that's right. It's evolved, is, the whole commercialism, and they're all brands now. And just makes me think about that whole, Jesse Ventura outlook that maybe we don't need all these parties. I think we should just go by what they say and what they've done in their life, not if they voted with their party line enough or whatever.
Well, and that's what I was talking to you, Court, a few days ago about this, that I really do think that we should change the way that we vote, possibly, to a system where each candidate, they give you like 20 questions as a presidential candidate, and you have to give a one-sentence response to how you feel or what you would do about that issue. And when you go into the voting booth, you don't vote on a candidate, you vote on those multiple choice questions, and at the end it tells you who you voted for. Because too many people vote for somebody who is the opposite of what they represent just because they don't know and they've let the media tell them that that's their candidate.
That's closer to the Nolan chart that we all did that Nolan chart, right? Where it's like, we're just answering the questions, and then when you're done, it's like, here's where you stand. We were all in the same place, okay? And it's like, we all answered the same thing. Obviously, we're all 100% on the same page.
Which, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, the Nolan chart, it's pretty much it's a multiple choice. What was it, like 25 questions? And at the end of it, it's got like a circle that's got like libertarian, conservative, liberal, and
or it's like a diamond or a square.
Yeah. And it puts a dot, and it tells you where you stand on that. And yeah, I think we all ended up at the tippy top of libertarian.
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
Top of the baseball diamond there, or what would be second base on a baseball diamond, I guess. But top of the pyramid, libertarian, right? I mean,
the whole thing about that, though, I like the Nolan chart, and it's a good idea. But people could take that test all they want, and it could align them with a certain party. But it always ends up that candidate negates certain aspects of those certain choices that they've made. So they really need to investigate the people and not just go along with what party they're going to vote for, just like we were saying. So
what's interesting to do if you go check out that Nolan chart, or just look up nolanchart.org or .com or whatever online, Google it, or Start Page or whatever you use. But if you take that afterwards, go do a search for your politician or whoever you're going to vote for in the next coming 2 weeks. Put in Obama Nolan chart in a Google, and if you just took the test, you'll see wherever your star lands, and then you go run a Google comparison to see where Mitt Romney or Gary Johnson or Ron Paul or whoever, where their star is indicated by the media, I guess. I don't know, but
I would even go further than that.
It's out there.
Yeah.
I would go even further than that to say go onto that Nolan chart, and for each question, go through and research that candidate's view and type it in yourself, because that way you're finding out where they stand.
And see if they've changed it, right?
Yeah. Well, with Mitt Romney, you could probably get 5 different dots. He's got one in each corner,
You're gonna get multiple links of flip floppy double talk, right?
I think it'll happen. It would be the same with Obama, but maybe a little bit less because he's been in politics not as long.
Yeah. Well, Obama would have 5 dots, where Mitt Romney's dot is the entire chart.
hey, you guys, check this out. We're live right now still, I believe, and so check this out. We all kind of have our views about who we wish was in the election and who we want to see. But if we take a step into reality, if you want to call it that, when it seems like the opposite. But if you want to wager on what we think is going to be the outcome in the next 2 weeks, and not what CBS messes up and posts on their People's Court.
That was my answer.
Oh, that's it, because we already saw it for 2 weeks in advance? Kyle, what do you think?
40-43. Yep, it's going to be 40-43 for Obama, 17% going to Gary Johnson.
So, Court, what do you think? We've already seen it, 40-43. Are we calling it at the media speaks?
Well, if I was CBS, I would probably change it a little bit now. Wouldn't make it that obvious, but it seems to be
42-39, or I don't know what.
Yeah, it'll probably be something more like that. But with the recent polls, they have been showing them quite close, so I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah. So realistically, Court, what do you think we're going to see here on November 6th? Realistically, not what we already saw in People's Court.
Well, realistically, a lot of the Obama supporters have been asleep watching sports for the last 4 years because they don't seem to understand that he's lied about almost every single thing. And people just tune into anytime they tune in, it's just to the debates and they hear what they have to say, but they haven't paid attention to what they do. So sadly, I do think it's going to be Obama once again. And I hate to say that.
Because he came back and woke up in the last 2 debates, or what?
Well, no,
that's
not
the
necessarily.
only thing people see. That's all they know. They don't read the articles, or what?
Well, they just think he's still the same he was in 2008. People don't do their research. The people who were lured in. See, there's people like you and I and Kyle that actually read stuff and keep up on people, but then there's people that hear what the pundits say and take their spin on it and just take it with a grain of salt. They don't actually pay it. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I do think that you're absolutely right, but Lake, what you said about Obama coming back in the most recent debates, I think that is completely
Do you think
planned.
that?
I think that's orchestrated. I think that I really do think that Mitt Romney is the new John Kerry. I think in the first debate he was not meant to do as well as he did, and he didn't. The thing is, he didn't do well. Obama just did very poorly, and so I think Obama coming back so hard was part of the plan. I think Mitt Romney is here to give the election to Obama, to give you another choice not to vote for him.
I've thought that for a long time. I've thought that for a long time, and after the first debate, it made me take a step back to say, "Whoa, is that really the way I thought it?" Because I thought he was sort of a ringer. He was making all these points, but he was starting to get kind of. He was trying to appeal to me by being Ron Paulish and constitutionalist, especially near the end of his first speech. And he
Mitt Romney?
Yeah, Romney there.
Oh, okay.
And he was trying to, get kind of libertarianish away in a little bit of a way, or constitutionalist to that degree.
Not with foreign policy.
Yeah, but as soon as it came to the third debate, foreign policy, he agrees with everything that Obama says. He's ready to launch the rise of the drones, kill. Court, you go run with this.
Well, it wasn't a debate. It was an agreement. That's why they were sitting down and talking so softly. Well, when we drone those kids across seas, it's just because we're getting terrorists and future terrorists. You got to have that shh after everything you say with Romney. Terrorists. Yeah. And, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I completely agree with you guys. It's like that debate was like, I don't know if anybody out there watching, the one person watching. Hi, by the way, how you doing? Where the media speaks. But
can we see someone's watching us?
Yeah, there's one person watching. But
yeah, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you want to text in 815-501-9556, and we'll chime in on whatever you have to say. But I think that the most recent debates are very similar to that episode of Futurama where it's like Jack Johnson versus John Jackson. Your 10% tax doesn't go far enough, and it's like your 10% tax goes too far, not enough. Like it's the same, it's the exact.
It's like, by God, I'm against it. By God, I'm for it. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, let's take a second then to not discuss the differences that. In the first debate, it was all about what are the differences between you, and apparently it was Big Bird or something like that. But let's get into...
Snuffleupagus.
I love Snuffleupagus, but this close to the... can you flash a picture of Snuffleupagus?
Yeah, I'll get on that.
All right. This close to the election, and with the viewer watching, what do... Man, I got so excited that someone's watching us, I totally lost it. I'm supposed to be orchestrating.
We're going to talk about the similarities between Obama and Romney.
That's where I was headed. Clark figured it out, yeah.
Good.
Not the differences so much, but we all love Snuffleupagus. Let's get a picture of him. There he is. And
Kyle Phillips.
Snuffy. Snuffy.
Oh, there he is.
Where's my Snuffy? All right. There he goes.
Snuffleupagus 2012.
Reporting from Sesame Street. But what are the real similarities? And in the last debate, Court, you probably saw how they were both on board totally for drones and UAVs.
Oh, well, The only disagreement they had was the handling of Libya, and that's all Romney attacked him for. Other than that, they might as well have, I don't want to say something perverted. They might as well.
It's not even the way that they're handling Libya, but it's
might as well been making out the whole time.
I'm sorry. It's the kind of the differences between the reports and who said what and when we knew what and why'd you say that and why'd you say this and that.
Well, yeah, it's really funny how, like, they say all the exact same things, but then, like, the next morning you can go into any gas station and look at, whatever 6 newspapers that they sell in your area, and it's like 3 of them say Romney won, 3 of them say Obama won,
Yeah, exactly. No matter what, the biased agency is going to say, oh, well, we think he won because, and then they'll have one pundit on there that they can easily pick apart that supports the other guy.
Exactly. It's like when you hear somebody like Keith Olbermann.
Hannity and Combs.
Yeah. Well, like, you hear these people like Hannity and Rush Limbaugh and, any of the liberal ones that nobody listens to, Keith Olbermann, and they'll call people out on, like, the smallest little things. They'll call them out on, like, mispronouncing a word or, like, very, very slightly misquoting something, but, like, when their candidate
to discredit
does
them,
yeah, but when their candidate does it, it's like, hush, hush, like, we're not going to talk about that. That's not a problem.
Well, he's stressed out, leave the guy alone.
We knew what he meant,
Well, he's dealing with the whole Libya thing. He has to drone kids every day. Leave him alone.
Yeah, seriously, those drones take a lot out of you.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
ordering the deaths of innocent children is pretty hard, so.
Yeah, and, I mean, that's just another thing right there, which I'm going to ask you guys to kind of respond to this, is there's so many things like this, like the NDAA, indefinite detention, drones flying over the United States, proven CIA assets being part of terrorist attacks, all these different things, I could just go on forever with all these things that are just obvious, terrible, terrible representations of tyranny, and that's what we live under, but people just seem to have a blind eye to it. You say these things to people, and you say, well, the government has X-ray vans that drive by and scan your house to see what you're doing.
Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Shut up.
Exactly. So, like, why do you guys think that is, that a lot of people are just unable to see that and unable to acknowledge that we live under tyranny? They just don't want to believe it. Why is that?
It's a big responsibility. Either way, but it's a big responsibility, And D-Like and I were actually talking about this. Ever since I've been awakened to all this, it's been a big responsibility to share and spread this information, and it's very hard because, just like you said, people are just passive about it or just call you crazy or whatever. But it's like taking the blue pill or taking the red pill. It's a responsibility. It's like being in the Matrix. We're on that ship in the sky while all these people are asleep on this planet, and we try to go in and wake them up, and they call us crazy or think we're effing psycho, or they want to stay asleep. They don't want to be told the truth, just like that one character sold them out. It's just like that.
It can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It can make you sick. It can wake you up early in the morning. It can, disturb your sleep.
It can.
You can have stress. Okay.
But
that certainly doesn't. Indicate. I mean, anything could really cause stress, and we all know that there's certain foods you can eat, and there's other ways that you could relieve your stress. There, okay? Your girlfriend give you a back massage, or you could self-medicate, or do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of ways. There's plenty of ways you can alleviate that stress. But one way that I would suggest that if you want to be more stress-free is education and learning about the shit that's really going on, because if you're just like, oh, these guys are fear mongers and like they're talking about stuff we have to be prepared for, or this is a national emergency and that's just fear and panic talk, and you're just a fear monger and you're a warmonger and you're just inducing all this fear into people, and it's like, actually, no, it's kind of the opposite. It's like,
Oh, we're tinfoil hat wearers. That's what we are.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll wear my damn tinfoil hat proud, okay?
You guys, it's Saturday, right? Spend the weekend Googling HARP and all these other Project Bluebeams and all this other stuff.
HAARP.
Yeah,
Yes.
HAARP, and Angels Don't Play This HARP. And Court, what's that main scientist guy's name? You know,
Can't remember off the top of my head, but
the
he
kid
hasn't
with the
been on there.
purple shirt used to run really fast. You know who I'm talking about.
Pele? No, I'm just kidding.
Pele. Definitely Pele.
I don't remember exactly his name. Dr. Nick Baggage or Savage?
Nick Baggage? Nick Baggage.
Baggage.
Baggage,
That's
there
what
you
it
go.
is.
All
I was
right,
close.
hey, but Kyle, what are your feelings about drones, not overseas, not for war, but here in America?
Well,
And 30,000 drones that the DHS or
Domestic
whatever
spy drones.
What do you think about domestic spy drones, Phillips and Court? What do you guys think?
I love them.
They're great. They're
And you
good
want
for
more
you.
of them?
Obviously I don't like them. I think it's insane to have the government flying these things over, spying on us. In fact, right around the corner from where I live in Elgin, Illinois, there's a video on YouTube where somebody saw one, literally videotaped it because they were at their kid's soccer game, had their camera recording. A drone flew over, and I mean, it was close. You could see it. It was right there. And that's too much. I believe with Ron Paul, what the libertarians heavily are constantly saying is that you don't give up freedom for safety. That's a fallacy. It's not true. And having drones fly over, I mean, that is literally 1984. I mean, the scene with the helicopter coming up to the window, that is literally what it is. And I think that we need more sheriffs. I'm probably going to get some hate for this one, but like Joe Arpaio, at least on things like this, it's a sheriff's job to protect their county, whether it be from terrorism, from violence, from the federal government. And I think we need to see some sheriffs start shooting these things down. You cannot fly a drone over a sheriff's county without their permission. So I would really like to see that. I'd like to see some sheriffs start doing something. And I've actually even, call me crazy, I've been looking into some information that if these things start to become more prominent, the first time I actually see a drone with my own eyes, I'm building an EMP device. And that's that, you know?
Well, goodbye to all your electronics.
Yeah, but I'm gonna drop it out of the sky. If I see a drone flying over my house, it's coming down. You know?
Hey, Court,
you'll have a tank rolling up on your property.
Yeah.
Hey, Court, I know. I don't know. I pretty much agree with what Phillips was saying about sheriffs and sheriffs taking responsibility and all that. I know you have some feelings and opinions about Arpaio there in Arizona. And you've been following some of his cold case, posse case, and testimony and all that other stuff. But let's get past that and just how do you feel about EMPs? And how do you feel about Phillips saying he's gonna start making EMP devices immediately if he sees a drone?
Well, it's pretty funny. I mean,
it's funny in a sick way.
You got to be prepared, and I personally wouldn't shoot it down, but I would videotape it. Make it news. You know, I did see in the local news they were showing the sheriff's department introducing the spy drones, and they were showing the protesters drowning out half the seminar and trying to demonize the protesters and show how of a nuisance they were. And the sheriff's like, we couldn't even get half the speech out. Like the news was obviously on their side. And
yeah, this needs to be heard.
Like, it's for your safety. Quit whining. Quit complaining. And you know, I'm a firm believer. They're probably already doing this all over. They're just trying to roll it out so that we actually start accepting it. I know that they actually sell drones commercially they're trying to market it to film students and things like that, people that are going on tours. So it's just an incrementalism. Slowly over time, it's just going to be soon. They'll have guns on them and everything. They'll have everything on them. They'll have facial tracking recognition on it. They'll have once if they ever introduce RFID chips into people or anything like that, or even make a thing where our currency is all on that chip. I mean, who's to say they couldn't access all that information, or if they can't already? I almost think that, kind of like what Alex Jones says a lot, they passed this whole, with the Patriot Act, all the wiretapping. They were doing this years before through the whole Telecommunications Act. And I just think this is a way to roll it out on the people to openly accept it so they don't have to be so hush-hush about it.
Yeah. How do you guys feel? This is kind of a weird flashback question. You guys are a little younger than me, but how do you guys feel about the fact that it's 2012 and we have all this amazing remote control technology and these drones that can go about all kinds of advanced killing missions, and everything's remote controlled from some place in Las Vegas or something. It's all satellite, radio controlled and remote control. And even when I was a little kid, my buddies had remote control cars, and we've always had that. And so how is it on September 11th that remote control planes are totally implausible and there's no such thing? We could have never had. Those planes could have never been remote controlled. What are your feelings about that?
Go ahead, Court.
Well, personally, they've had this technology to do this type of thing. My view on if those were remote control planes...
I mean, just the plausibility that they're like, there's no way those planes could have been remote controlled. We don't have remote controlled 747s, and then it's like, oh yeah, we do.
It's possible. We have that because they've had remote control vehicles for some time. You've all seen the Google Maps vehicle, things like that. So I wouldn't put it past them. But
I heard they're passing that in San Diego, or they're passing that in California, Court.
What? Which one?
Google robot cars in California. They're passing it, or they're trying to pass it.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. I think that's the beginning of, you've seen The Demolition Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an example of their total control over society, sort of like a halfway China thing. Like you're not allowed to cuss, you're not allowed to eat bad food. Yeah, complete Agenda 21.
Commercials are songs.
Yeah, there's a whole monitoring system in your apartment that gives you a ticket if you curse. So I almost think that was sort of a premonition in Demolition Man. Sort of what they're going to roll out.
And hip-hop plays every time Wesley Snipes comes on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to comment on like what Court said a little bit earlier is all of these things that people call us conspiracy theorists over are things that not only do exist, but like you said, have existed for a very long time. Like the remote control planes, we know that technology exists because they implemented it after 9/11 to prevent that from happening again, to be able to take over a plane. We know that
immediately, right? Like they had that within the next couple months, or what?
Well, what do you think autopilot is? Autopilot. What is autopilot?
What about those doomsday planes that we're seeing? Okay, now I'm getting it off into 9/11 conspiracies. Let's bring it a little more back up to date, though. What do both of these candidates offer in terms of 9/11 truth in 2013?
Nothing. Nothing at all. I mean...
Has anyone else asked that question? That's a pretty good question, huh?
Wait, repeat that question? I didn't hear that. Sorry.
What do either of these candidates, Romney or Obama, offer to the American public in the way of 9/11 truth in 2013?
No, absolutely nothing. It's just a continuation of the imperialism of the United States and the UK. That's all it is. Just like I've noticed, I've mentioned in one of my previous articles, I think it was the Total Recall TSA one, that they planned the invasion of Afghanistan, and the Patriot Act was all written. All of it was planned before this happened. So they used it as the launch pad. They were waiting for something, sort of like a Pearl Harbor type event, like they said in the PNAC report. So...
it was written out. It was already there, ready to go. It was like I don't know if you've ever seen in the movies where like the guy comes into the president's office and he hands him what movie was it where somebody comes into the president's office and they're like they lay out 3 folders and it's like A, B, and C, and then the president like goes for B and the person's like and they're like A, and they're like yeah. Like it's.
I think that was 2012, wasn't it?
Was it?
I know I saw that. I know I've seen that, but yeah.
I think that was a 2012 movie.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
And so that's a good segue right there. How do you, Kyle Phillips? How do you feel about 2012, December 21st, 2012, and the Mayan prophecy that is doomsday or some sort of changing in the calendar or some? How do you feel about that event? do you have a Hollywood version, or what do you think is going to happen?
Okay, are you guys ready to really think I'm crazy now?
Let's hear it.
I already do. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Is somebody still tuned in? Is someone else still watching this?
Yeah, there is still a viewer, believe it or not.
It's okay. Daniel Foran.
It's Daniel Foran.
It is.
Yeah, but all right. Here's where I get a little bit crazy with 2012.
It's okay.
I do believe that 2012 December is going to be a pivotal moment. I don't think it's going to be specifically that date. I don't think an asteroid's going to hit and there's going to be earthquakes and stuff, but I think that's going to be the beginning of a new era. And I think that there's a lot of things that play into that. I think that religion plays into that a lot. I think that technology plays into that a lot. And I think that we're getting to this point where, I'm sure you guys have heard, but if anybody hasn't, technology doubles every year. That's a mathematical formula that's been true since like the 1930s, that every year technology doubles in its ability and its power. Oh, we lost our viewer. Whatever. But it
was Dan Foran.
It was Dan Foran.
It must have been. How'd you lose him when you started saying that, man? I'm so on board with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay.
I think it was because I said the word religion. But
damn it.
It's okay.
I think that because of that and because of technology doubling every year, that we're going to come to a point where it's like, here's 1 year, and then it doubles and it compounds if you're looking at it on a graph. Here's the next year, here's the next year, here's the next year, here's the next year. And around between the years 2012 and 2020, that line is going to hit as close to a straight line as it can possibly be. And I think we're going to come to a point where technology is so insane and we're able to do all these things like drones and nuclear warfare and atomic bombs and just massive personal, military, police state things, that it's going to get so out of control that we're going to come up to something like World War III, probably between Israel and Iran. And when we do, and it's Israel versus Iran, the United States versus Russia and China, everybody gets involved, we're going to reach a point of mutual destruction. We're going to reach a point of inevitability. And I think that one of two things is going to happen. We're going to destroy ourselves, that's going to be it for us, or it's going to be a new era of realization where everything changes and we go the complete opposite direction because we realize that there's only so far we can go with that before we destroy ourselves. So we're either going to realize it and change it, or we're going to destroy ourselves. That's my
idea. Well, that makes a lot of sense. And I believe it's maybe the ultimate repetition of history. Now, I'm not saying it at dawn on 2012, December 21st, we're all going to just incinerate or anything. But, I mean, look at Rome. They fell. They were trying to conquer the world. I mean, it's sort of what's happening right now with the UN. I mean, they're trying to have world domination, world government, right? Whenever that's attempted to be achieved, not every country is willing to go along with that. And I eventually think it is going to hit that point where it's going to be obviously a world war. My whole view on 2012, I personally think it's kind of a exploitation of the Mayan culture, but I do believe it could be like a spiritual awakening type thing, maybe a new awakening to something, something wider. Maybe more people will wake up about the NWO. That'd be awesome.
I mean, I think that we're all sort of similarly in agreement that what's been prophesized is sort of a shift in consciousness or an awakening.
Yes.
And we've all sort of seen evidence of an awakening, an increase in awakening, and more people sort of like wanting to know more about the truth. I mean, I don't think the three of us would actually be engaging in this Google Hangout if we didn't think we were trying to progress an awakening of the American people in the world, the entire world. If we didn't believe that a shift was happening, whether as hard as it might be to explain. I mean, in 2008, I was already starting to consider myself a freshman that was going to graduate in 2012, according to the Mayan calendar. And you know, it was a little previous to that my awakening process was really starting. I mean, I think I'm an artistic person that's kind of always been awake in an offbeat way and enlightened, and even as a really young person, I was like trying to engage myself in things that I thought were enlightening, and I would encourage everyone to do that. And young people in America, I mean, there's probably plenty that are getting a great education. There's probably some that are bored with school. There's probably some that want to drop the F out immediately because they think it's dumb, stupid, and retarded, and they can go and make their fortune some other
Careful,
way.
Ann Coulter.
You know, I mean,
Oh well, if he wasn't a complete idiot, then.
Well, you see,
know,
so are you saying that you're pro education, D-Lake? You're pro college, or?
oh yeah, no, I'm pro personal education. I think that, and I agree with tests that they give in elementary and GATE programs and stuff like that to find people that excel more than others, and a lot of programs are geared towards making those that sort of appear to excel early, continue to excel. But I think that the programs for the people that don't really shine as much in those early achievement type programs, that they get probably even more enhanced education in terms of bringing them up to speed with their peers. And I think if I were to be questioned about education in a formal debate, my opinion would be that it would be on the states, and it would really be on even the smaller town-like communities to teach their children. And I would encourage I would basically encourage. It's like you've got home education, then you've got public education, and I would kind of like slowly dissolve the Department of Education to bring home education and public education like closer together. So it's like in each town you have like just amazing teachers and everybody loves them, and it's like they're the mayors in those old school movies, and everyone just loves the teachers and the teacher communities, you know.
See, I agree with you, but I'll even go a step further, which people might disagree with me on this, and I'm going to start with a very astounding thing to say, but I believe that creationism should be taught in certain schools. Now, the reason for that is because I believe that the Department of Education should not be making those decisions. I think those decisions should be made on the individual basis of the community. If in a community somewhere down in the deep south, everybody in town wants their kids taught creationism, good, teach them creationism because you're the parents and that should be your decision. Up north, somewhere by Chicago, where a majority of people want evolution taught, they should teach evolution. Why? Because that should be the parents' decision, and the parents should have more of an input on that happening. It shouldn't be up to the state what your kids get taught. You should be making that decision in the individual communities.
Right. Well, I have a similar yet slightly different view. I personally think complete privatization of schools would be the ultimate solution, and that because then the schools individually would have the choice to make those decisions, or at least have a consensus from their students or parents. Right now, I kind of consider state schools and public schools similar to TSA. They're not really needed, and the private sector could do it a lot better. And the reason I say this is because I went to a private school myself, and for about 8 years, and then finally I actually had to go to a public school during high school, and I knew I was about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ahead than most of the kids in ninth grade when I joined. And it's because I feel it was because I went to a private school and it wasn't a public school. And I just think overall that they're inefficient. About the whole creationism thing, that's I think that could go along with the privatization. If it's a Catholic private school, sure, teach creationism. If it's a regular, just a public school, or a public private school, like anybody could come in, then that would be ultimately up to them, I guess. They could all talk at a PTA meeting.
We sort of have that to some degree, but how do you guys? I mean, I think I don't know how we're doing on time or anything, but how do you guys feel about? We're good to go.
Oh, we got as much time as we want.
Sweet. Okay. How do you guys both feel then? I mean, we're talking about public schools and private schools. and D-Lake has to take a pee. But how do you guys feel? So I'm gonna let you guys roll while I BRB. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about Michelle Obama's school food program and all this? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And like all these lunch menus, and how do you guys feel about lunch menus and public schools, and like you're gonna eat asparagus and like other vegetables that you may not like Brussels sprouts and whatever.
Bollocks.
Your pasta's not gonna have any meat, and I gotta take a pee. You guys discuss.
Discuss. Go ahead, Court. How do you feel about public school food?
Well, that's a whole dilemma within its own. I was actually at my old work. My coworker was telling me about his kid in school and how he put a Doritos bag, a small one, in his kid's lunch, and the teacher would take it away. And I thought that was quite ridiculous. And I said, well, I would say no. I gave that to my kid to eat. You can't take that away from him. And he's like, no, trust me, I tried. We tried to the principal and everything. So essentially, he would have to be taken out of that school over a bag of Doritos to eat a bag of Doritos at school. So I just think it's a part of the incrementalism of control. It's just that extra step, allowing the public schools or the state to tell you how to raise your kids. I think it's completely unconstitutional, in my opinion.
See, yeah. I agree with you. I do think that like a lot of schools, I don't know how it is in California, but they all have like a lunch voucher program. If your family doesn't make enough money or whatever, you can get a free lunch or like a lunch for like 25 cents. And when it comes to that, I do think that it should be healthy food. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I was in elementary school, we were literally eating prison food. It was the same company that made prison food that made our school lunches. Like,
kids are rioting and food fighting in schools right now for the same exact reason, though. They're like, what the hell is this prison food?
Public schools basically are treated like prisons now. And the way I'm going to promote this is because that when I got into ninth grade, and it was a public school for the first time in my life, the first thing I heard, the person who designed the school originally designed prisons.
Yeah.
And it was a single road going up onto a hill, and it looked like a prison. And that's how they're treating us. They're treating us like prisoners, and it's just going along with that whole recent NDAA. It's just, like I've been saying, it's, taking away our rights incrementally over time so that in the end, we don't have any left, and they have complete and utter control of our lives. Complete 1984, George Orwell. Yeah.
Here, I'm actually.
What are you doing there, Kyle?
I'm pulling up a picture for you right now because you said that this is a school in Crystal Lake, Illinois, right here. It's Prairie Ridge High School. This school, like you just said, it's up on a hill. You have to drive like a quarter mile down like a straight road to get through it, through empty field around it, and it was designed by a guy who originally designed prisons. And you can even see
that looks like a prison.
Yeah, and if you were to look at more pictures of like the back of it and stuff, like all of the windows on the classrooms are like these little like block windows across the top.
I barely even see windows on there. I don't really see windows. Put that picture back up. Does anyone see windows in there? How big are the windows that you guys see?
I see some on the doors right here. Those are windows. They're
like bars.
That looks like a hallway with windows that you know.
Yeah, but that's it. There's no.
But I assume over there on the left of that picture, if you're looking.
Hey, Kyle, while you're at it, look up Diamond Ranch. Look up Diamond Ranch High School, and that's the one I was talking about. If you can find that one, Diamond Ranch High School. If you can find a picture of that, look at.
If anyone's tuned
that's
in,
the one. That's the one.
We're looking at pictures of pictures of high schools built by people that also built prisons. Is that right, you guys?
Yeah. So
look at this.
Oh, that doesn't look like it was built by RoboCop prison.
Yeah, that's that first high school I went to, and it was built by a prison designer.
Like, it looks like a place that, like, Wesley Snipes and, Demolition Man would be fighting it out.
We need more.
Actually, they do use that school for a lot of movies. It was in that movie The Cell and The Imposter, a few other things as well. Yeah, so I guess that does make sense.
Demolition filmed here in San Diego at the convention center. It was the Taco Bell or something like that.
That kind of looks like. looks like UIC. If you guys, University of Cincinnati looks very, very similar to that at certain parts. Like very, not many windows, kind of future-y looking, but like a future prison. Is that a picture?
Yeah, like a future prison.
Yeah, like it really does.
Hey, I see a guard walking.
Is there?
I see it. No, it's a stormtrooper.
Like, and I mean that's another thing.
There wouldn't be. No, sorry. Go ahead.
That's just like what I was talking about. Is like, you send your kids to a school that's built by prison builders, and they eat prison food, and they're literally told. I don't know about you guys, but when I was in high school, they used to tell us, like, when you enter a school, you give up your rights. And it's like, people don't see that as a police state. People don't see that as a bad thing. They're like, well, they're kids. Let's put them in a jail for 8 hours a day. Big deal.
Well,
you know?
Parents are giving up their custody of the kids, essentially. And it's been made more of that way. Why do you think a lot more people are... now it's a law here in California that if you have a certain amount of absences or tardies, they can actually arrest the parents. Yeah, I don't know if it's like that in Illinois, but... Damn, my parents would have been in jail. I'll tell you what. Senior year, I missed a lot of periods, but beyond that, yeah, lost that school a lot of money. But
actually, when I was a senior in high school, I had so many credits that I was only at school from 7:20 until like 8 or until 11:40. I was there for like 2-3 hours, and then I left. And yeah, I didn't show up all the time. It's like I had 3 classes, and one of them was a study hall.
Yeah, right. I know my first period was like foods, like home ec, right? Yeah, I didn't have any real classes that year, but that's probably why.
I had my last semester senior year, I had a study hall, 1 real class, and 1 independent study, which was me sitting in a study hall where I just had to do like 2 lessons a day from a book that they gave me. I did the same algebra class as an independent study, and I did pass them, where they just gave me an algebra book, and they're like, do this, and we'll give you a grade. I did the same class 3 times.
That shows you how... that just shows you how, I mean, I would say public schools kind of waste money. I mean, couldn't they be utilizing that time and that teacher for something good? And we talk about, there's a whole proposition here in California. I know you probably heard about it, D-Lake. Prop 30. Mm-hmm. They're going to increase billions of dollars of spending to go to teachers, but they can also suck away this money into whatever the politicians want. I'm pretty much against it, although I do want teachers to be paid well. I think there should be some sort of better program to weed out the bad teachers, because, I mean, how many bad teachers have we had, I mean, in this public school system? I mean, I can think of at least 10. I mean, there's some bad. Yeah,
that's like, my girlfriend is actually, she's going to school to be a teacher, and she's talked about that because they're talking about, I don't know there, but here they're talking about taking away tenure from teachers, so that you can't just get in and after so many years it's like impossible to get fired, because tenure does not equal a good teacher. And my girlfriend's going to be a teacher, and she agrees with this, because for the same reason, everybody's had a bad teacher who could do whatever they wanted because they had And there's a lot of good teachers out there who aren't teaching right now because all the positions are taken by, well, not all
the tenures.
The tenures, which a lot of them aren't that good. What are you pulling up here, D-Lake?
I'm just putting up a little screen action for you guys while I grab a cerveza.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Obama loves golf.
Does he?
Does he? Dude,
I bet him and Bush play together.
On September 10th, I did a report talking about how Obama has missed over 50% of his PDBs, presidential daily briefings. The next day, Benghazi happens, and then after that, I was covering the shambles that was that investigation.
Oh, no, your golf video. I do remember it, where you dress like a golfer.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
Hey, how do you guys feel about this, though? I'm going to go grab a cerveza, but you guys like how I just keep asking questions and then go somewhere and come back?
Yeah, it works.
That's a perfect host trick.
That's my perfect new host style. The question.
Alex Jones will cut to a commercial so he can go do that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Right? He's all time to go to break. He's all eating donuts and drinking coffee.
Infomercial wars.
Can I just say on that, like, this is completely, like, not political related or anything, but I know you guys watch, like, the nightly news here and there and listen to Alex Jones, at least.
Yeah, not as much lately, but I would like to watch it more.
I do, probably, like, once, twice a week I'll watch each of them, but I've been noticing it's like they are starting to go, like, way, way overboard with their intros. Like, if you watch the nightly news, you watch, like, 50 seconds of intro. Like, it, like, goes into, like, 3 different basements, and, like, it's just too much. It's like, our intro is, what, like, 15 seconds? And I think that's, like, a long intro. Like, Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Jakari Jackson has a great voice, so we got to let him do a 50-second intro.
Yeah, right. No, I actually heard, and don't get me wrong, like, I like the guy. I think that he does the job good. But
yeah, he's a good reporter.
Yeah, I saw.
I like him.
I do. I do like the guy, and I saw an episode of the Nightly News just recently where he said, like Alex Jones always says, like, let's get to the meat and potatoes, and Jakari Jackson said it, but like Jakari Jackson isn't like as like one Southern. And 2, like, as, like, intense. So when he said it, it's like, we're getting down to the meat and potatoes. It kind of cracked me up.
We're getting down to the meat and potatoes.
I was just joking. If I was in his seat, it'd be a 60-second intro. Okay, pal?
Here,
I don't know what intro I'd have. I'd be more worried about the content.
Well, the court report. You got one.
Yeah, I know.
I like that.
You know what? I actually had someone say that they subscribed to my channel because they liked the intro, the music or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, "Yeah, I love the intro." It was probably a metalhead, I'm sure, but
We like the court report, though. We need more court reports. Like
you know what?
Every Tuesday, pal.
I've been lagging on that. I admit.
Your day is Wednesdays or Thursdays. Hey, Thursday, must-see TV, court report. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get on that for sure. I've been focused on a lot of writing, but I haven't done anything over a week. I got sick, and that threw me off. I did plan on writing something yesterday, but I do need to make more court reports. You're right, D-Lake.
All right. Don't make me drive up there and enforce the law.
Which law are you talking about?
the journalist's creed.
The journalist's creed. The media.
They have a creed?
Shahira law, court.
Oh, God. Here, hold on. I was putting on my veil.
What about hey, let's change topics and discuss the weather or no.
The weather.
What's popular on TV right now or in your internet world, or what's the media that you guys are watching with your girlfriends? I mean,
I've been watching a lot of The Walking Dead and Dexter.
Dexter, all right, yeah.
My girlfriend makes me watch both of those shows.
I love
Walking
those
Dead
shows.
Walking Dead is the big zombie hit, right? Is that
I love that. That's my favorite show by far. Yeah,
It's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm obsessed with zombies, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
And Phillips, he likes older shows. What are you watching, Phillips, on your...
Well, because, you know, I've said this before, that I am as guilty as the next guy of falling into the whole TV paradigm. I get sucked in, you know, some days I'll sit down and I'll be doing promotion and making videos for like 8 hours, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to sit down and have a few beers, and I'm going to watch something funny. And I've been watching.
But you've already done the work, so you're using that as your escapism after all the hard work is done.
Exactly, I've earned it.
Kind of like a treat.
Yeah, it's a treat. And so I watch a lot of Cheers. I've been watching a lot of MacGyver lately. I'm a big MacGyver fan. Richard D.
I've seen all of that.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
I forget.
I used to watch MacGyver when it was new and be like all stoked and tuned in, like yeah.
Like
I remember that.
I even believe, I forget what song it was, but one of the rap songs I did, at the end of it, I just kind of threw in, I'm like, and Richard Dean Anderson's a good actor.
Yeah, I think I remember that, yeah.
Like, great show. I mean, MacGyver...
It's like Aunt Patty and Aunt Selma. You hanging out with that Patty and out Selma there, Kyle?
Well, like, MacGyver, though, when you think about it, is like a wholesome show. It's like MacGyver doesn't swear. He doesn't use guns. He's smart. He's always looking out for kids. He takes part in the Challenger program, which actually Richard Dean Anderson and the show MacGyver were, like, responsible for starting the Challenger program.
And now he's like Stargate SG-1 now, isn't he?
Wait,
Yeah.
at NASA?
Huh? No. The Challenger, it's like Boy Scouts, kind of.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually recently I was watching MacGyver and I was thinking to myself, I was like, Richard Dean Anderson hasn't done anything in a really long time. And I went and Wikipedia'd him, and yeah, he's like responsible for starting the Challenger Club. That's why it was in MacGyver a few times.
Yeah.
I thought that was. I thought
Yeah.
that was the Big Lebowski. Wait.
But no, I love shows like that. Believe it or not, one of my guilty pleasures also, which it's one of those things where I love the show, but if it was reality, I would be outraged by it, is 21 Jump Street. Like, I don't know if you guys
I don't think
ever
I've
watched
seen
it.
that.
It's the one with Johnny Depp where it's like adult police officers who infiltrate high schools to take down criminals. It's
That
like
used to be my favorite show, dude.
it's so good.
I may have seen it. I don't remember.
I used to watch.
Maybe like a long time ago.
I'm older than you guys. That was my favorite show for a while there.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's like yeah.
I mean, I was young when it came out, or younger, and I thought it was cool as jazz. You know, all the characters were super cool. But then I got a little older, and I'm like, man, those guys were busting my buddies in high school. And then I started hearing stories about people getting popped by the narcs and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. Or,
Yeah, like it's a
messed
good
up,
show,
you know?
terrible
Yeah.
idea for real life.
Yeah, narcs.
Yeah.
We had narcs at my high school, and all they did was try to pick up on the chicks. I'm all, hey, hire pedophiles. This is amazing.
Yeah. Right?
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So D-Lake, what do you watch? What are your shows?
I just started watching a couple of Hulu shows, and you could probably say I'm like really super far behind because I'm just watching like the first season of Arrested Development, and I was watching I guess some of the newest season 9 of The Office, and I never even watched that show before, and
I
it's
just
already on
watched that.
season 9, and I'm like, hey, this show is brand new to me. Have you guys seen it? And everyone's like, yeah, we've already seen it. Yeah.
No, actually, you know what? I'll back you up on that because just like last month, I went through and watched like the last 3 seasons of The Office just because I knew Will Ferrell was going to pop in at some point. And like when he finally did, he was there for like 2 episodes. It's like I just watched like 20 episodes. For
Do you
2
have
episodes.
Hulu Plus?
I used to, but I switched to Netflix.
Oh. Well, if anyone watching us right now? Do we have any viewers?
No.
KP?
No.
Hey, whatever. Hey, are we gonna be?
Whatever. But
Are we gonna be posting this anywhere or?
It automatically posts to YouTube after
yeah,
we're
later
done.
on, someone's gonna tune in and can watch it later, and we'll see how many views us sitting around
Yeah.
talking. Well, speaking of that, though, doesn't it seem like we've gone like a pretty long time? Can you tell us how long it's been, Kyle? Or
I have no idea. Wait.
Yeah, me neither.
do you have a timer somewhere on there?
No,
Or
it
do you
doesn't.
want
It doesn't tell me anywhere. It's been a bit.
That's
though.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'd say
Seems
we
like
can
it's been
wrap
a
it
while,
up.
guys. Hey, let's wrap it up, and then maybe let's tune in when we're not live broadcasting, so we could, talk about how amazing and great we were.
Okay, so everybody. All right, so everybody say their name. It would be Anthony Court starts.
Go ahead.
I'm Anthony Court.
Oh, like the intro?
Yeah, like the intro.
Okay, start over.
All right,
This
go
is
ahead.
impromptu here. I'm Anthony Court.
I'm David Lake.
And I'm Kyle Phillips. And you're watching The Media Speaks. Tune in next time. Thanks for coming.